NoFap rewires your brain. But at the end of this video you will understand the science behind NoFap and how quitting PMO actually changes your brain. When it comes to how your brain affects your life, you should know that too much fapping and other stimulating activities that give you instant gratification could lead to hypofrontality. In this situation, the prefrontal cortex of the brain has less blood flow. The prefrontal cortex is in charge of your ability to pay attention, control yourself, and delay instant gratification. These things become harder to do when you view adult content. The stronger your addiction, the harder it is to break it. This means that the more visual stimuli you watch, your brain's reward system becomes desensitized, the less self-control you have, and the less you can delay feel-good sensations. To start, you need to know about your prefrontal cortex. Most guys find it hard to quit because their brain's reward system has become less sensitive, which makes them less motivated. They also have to deal with strong urges to fap and a lack of willpower. Because they have less frontal lobe action, it is harder for them to put off being satisfied. All of these things make NoFap extremely difficult. To stop the urges, you need motivation, willpower, and the ability to delay self-gratification. When you view digital stimulation, you lose all of these things. Because of how challenging NoFap can be, it's not surprising that so many men, despite their best efforts, can't give up the bad PMO addiction. Many guys who try NoFap quit after a few slip-ups, but if you're ready to stick with it, think of it as a process that will take time to master. If you only watch adult content twice a week instead of every day, it's easier to see your progress. Only then will you strengthen your prefrontal cortex, which will give you more willpower and help you stay on track. As you are progressing in the right direction, NoFap will become easier, which makes you less inclined to give up. The important thing is to start right away. The longer you wait, the harder it will be. NoFap is also important because of how it affects your brain's reward system. Too much stimulation makes this mechanism lose its sensitivity. Because of this, there are fewer dopamine receptors in your brain. Since dopamine is released by dopamine receptors, having fewer receptors makes it harder to get dopamine. In other words, the brain needs more stimulation to make the same amount of dopamine as before. So, watching digital stimulation doesn't make the things you normally do seem interesting anymore. Because your brain has become less sensitive, these activities don't produce enough dopamine to make you feel excited. The brain usually takes 30 to 90 days to heal, but a brain scan isn't required to determine that NoFap is helping you. Dopamine is the neurotransmitter that makes us motivated. So, as your brain starts to recover, you'll feel more motivated because you'll be getting a normal amount of dopamine again. When your motivation returns, it's a signal that NoFap is working. When your dopamine levels go up, it turns on a gene called delta phosB, which is involved in the development of behavioral addictions. It slowly changes the reward circuitry in your brain. When it builds up, it turns on a specific set of genes that change the reward center physically and chemically. It alters your brain to trigger wanting more of what you just binged on, whether it was PMO, video games, or junk food. This is very dangerous because it could lead to a negative feedback loop. If you are thinking about a dirty website, then you actually visit that website, the action causes more spikes in dopamine, which makes delta phosB build up. When this chemical builds up, it makes you want to keep viewing the adult content. As a result, the need to repeat this behavior grows stronger with each new loop. This is what makes dirty videos so addictive. Nerve cells that fire together wire together. So, be aware of when something is too exciting and stimulating, so you can break the cycle. Neuro researchers have shown that addicts have gray matter shrinkage in areas of the brain that are important for cognitive function. You have to work hard to make sure that your brain's reward system is back to normal. When a rush of pleasure is taken away from your brain, it's like removing the leg of a chair. When you do this, the chair becomes wobbly and out of balance. The same goes for the systems in your brain. When your brain is off balance, there are two things that could happen. Effect number 1 is that you will hurt and feel so much pain that you will do anything to get that leg attached back to the chair. In other words, your brain will make you feel so bad that you will start using again. Effect number 2. The other option is to just accept that the chair leg is gone and figure out how to keep the chair balanced without it. Your brain slowly gets back to normal, which is why it will eventually choose acceptance over discomfort. This method takes a lot of willpower, and when you first start NoFap, you have the least amount of willpower possible. That's why you need a plan to deal with strong desires so you can beat them. If you're interested in that, watch this next video where I teach you how to deal with strong urges.